He's the #1 box office attraction, and his home is Jupiter, Florida. Since last year, Burt Reynolds has spent a lot of time there producing and even starring in shows at his new dinner theater. Last March, Nancy Solomon took a 2-hour drive up the east coast of Florida to find out more about the theater and its main attraction.
Jupiter, Florida has been called lots of things before. Exciting is not one of them, but it's certainly a haven for tourists who stretch out on miles of clean, secluded beach, and it's home for fewer than 9,000 others, a quiet, laid-back city nestled between Palm Beach and Fort Pierce. A good number of residents make their living a couple of miles west of the ocean in Florida's cattle country, where one ranch or farm spills over to the next. The BR Ranch is known for its race and show horses, but the senior owner, affectionately called Big Burt, takes exceptional pride in his most famous offspring.
I love it here because, as I say, I'm not treated any different than, I mean, I really can go to the store and everybody says hi and it's fun and nobody chases you around the block or anything, and it's terrific here. And that's why I love it so much. And I have a ranch and horses and cattle and
your folks are here too.
My folks are here, my brother and my sister. And I'm very close to them, and it's coming home. You know? They say that Thomas Wolfe said you can never go home again, but I think the theater's proved him wrong. I hope so.
Burt Reynolds was born and raised in this area, and he's come home to roost. His new 400-seat dinner theater isn't chicken feed in his book. Reynolds has signed Oscar and Emmy award-winning performers to play to audiences, mostly locals and nearby residents, and many who've never been exposed to theater before.
The people that aren't used to theater, they want an attraction. They want a place. They want to really go out, and they want it to be a big occasion. And so this is a little like Vegas, you know. They come and they have their dinner and they get all gussied up, and then they see a show. And what we hope is that they get in the habit of seeing live performers and seeing the show.
Good evening, and how are you tonight? If you'll follow Bruce, he'll take you to your seats.
Good evening. How you all doing?
We're going to do a few plays some wonderful old plays and some wonderful new plays that you don't usually have after roast beef. And I think that what'll happen, certainly what happened after Bandit, some people were shocked, but a lot of people were just, this is so staggering, and wonderful, and exciting, you know.
Was it almost like somebody hit him over the head finally and said, hey, wake up?
Well, there was some people with blue hair that, you know, passed out, but, and they didn't have blue hair when they came in. They didn't know when to applaud. I mean, they were confused about applauding for when the curtain came up, and they didn't know about curtain calls, and they didn't know about applauding somebody when they came on stage and all that. But they're learning. I mean, this is like the second week of the second show, and I come every night and sit in the back and watch, and they now have learned theater manners, you know, which is wonderful. It's exciting to see.
And they've been coming in droves since the theater opened the end of January. In fact, there are no tickets left for the current production, Born Yesterday, with Karen Valentine, Joseph Mascolo, and David Huffman.
I just know that I hate my life. There's got to be a better kind, I know it. And you know it, too, if you read some of these books. Or maybe it's right what you say, I'm still dumb. But there's one thing I know now I never knew before. And that is there is a better life than the one I got, or you.
I suppose you figured we were better off with that lousy saxophone player, huh?
At least he was honest.
He was a dime a dozen chump.
He worked.
For Karen Valentine, trying to shed her clean-scrubbed image as the teacher in the TV series Room 222, the Burt Reynolds Theater happened along at the right time. But Valentine is one of many performers spending a few months here at the expense of perhaps missing a more lucrative film or movie venture.
Yesterday, because for me, it's a terrific thing to be able to have a place such as the Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater where you can go and you can stretch and you can do a different role, you can do something that you wouldn't ordinarily do, because it's terrific. It's a terrific place to work.
And the town of Jupiter is quite lucky, because as president of the theater, Mary Green admits,
Burt is able to attract stars that we could never afford here at the theater. They come here because they love and respect Burt.
Above the stars that he's bringing in, the main attraction to the local people is the fact that it had Burt Reynolds' name on it. that his name was out there on the front of the building, and that they were just curious about him. You know, that every newspaper, every article you read is about Burt Reynolds these days. All you hear about on the radio and TV is Burt Reynolds. So they wanted to see what his theater was about.
Even employees like 21-year-old master electrician Tommy Thompson realize the drawing power of Reynolds' name. But they also realize they're getting a break in their own careers. In fact, Reynolds has an apprentice program where young theater majors work in all phases of his productions.
A 15-year-old kid can direct me in a film if he's qualified, or an 80-year-old man, if he can get the job done. If I can leave him behind and walk over him, then I don't want him to direct me. But I give people as much respect as they can demand from me, or I think that they can handle at the time.
He's been on both sides of the camera, directing and acting in films, but Burt Reynolds will star along with Sally Field, as well as direct his next production, The Rainmaker.
Directing is communicating what the author wants to say, and you let your actors run, you know. You just let them run as fast as they can go and guide them. Give them as much freedom as you can. And then when they get out of line, you kind of pull them in a little bit, but try to harness all that energy and
It must be such a tenuous situation.
it is. It's very tenuous, but it's so much fun. It's really exciting.
See somebody come alive.
It's the most exciting thing in the world. It's much more exciting than acting.
It's his theater, and Reynolds has the chance to do it all if he wants. Yet he knows his audiences aren't necessarily big city liberals.
But there is a real hardcore Florida gator, if you'll pardon the expression, and they are conservative, and they are right-wing, and they are tough. They talk about it not being the South, and I think we all know that it is the South.
Right, no matter how we slice it.
Yes, and it's a very, very conservative state.
Yeah. Have you had problems with that up here, the conservatism?
I only had some problems in the sense that I came out for the Equal Rights Amendment this year, and I did a couple of spots for it, and as you know, it was defeated down here.
The state of Florida and Palm Beach County squashed Burt Reynolds' attempts at filming Smokey and the Bandit, The Longest Yard, and Gator in the Sunshine State. With a theater, he's free of that bureaucracy and able to come and go and do as he pleases.
I'd like to be able to say certain things about life and do it in an interesting, theatrical way and get my message across, and not have anybody know that they had a message, you know. I do believe that if you want to give somebody a message, you should go to Western Union. I think that's true. But if you can do it at the theater, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Regardless of what messages come across, the folks in Jupiter will most likely be bragging. Their most famous resident opened a theater in his hometown. As Burt Reynolds Sr. puts it,
he's just a little